It just allows for a better position of your... So the question is, why should your knees be lower than your hips? It allows for the natural tilt in your spine, and it makes it easier on your body. So that's why it's always important to, if you're sitting in a chair and you're tall, or if you're sitting on a cushion, just to make sure your hips are a little higher. It's for better body alignment.
I have the dreaded lurgy that's been going around, and one of the things that it's doing to me right now is it's giving me a swollen throat. I woke last night thinking I was not going to be able to breathe, and I tried to breathe to calm myself. That's harder than it sounds at 3:20 in the morning when you think your throat's closing. I wondered if you had any thoughts for when it's harder to calm yourself, when you're feeling panicky as opposed to just thoughts clouding your mind or specific pain, something like that.
So the question is, what do you do when a thought or emotion arises that is powerful and you're not able to settle yourself? So there are several techniques that one can use. And we'll just go through a few of them. And again, you were challenged by the fact that because of your cold, it made it more difficult to breathe. But we do know that the breath is still the best tool we have to settle ourselves down. And that if you can bring that ABCDE to your breath, consciously breathing from the abdomen, prolonged exhalation, that can be helpful. But what we're really looking at, though, is mindfulness here. And so whether it is fear, I will not be able to breathe, anger, judgment, our natural tendency is to run away from what is unpleasant. I'm scared, I'm fearful, I'm angry, there's something wrong. The last thing you want to do is turn to it. What we normally do is avoid it or we deny it. This is what is very unique about mindfulness. Because mindfulness turns to meet all of its experience. So, when one is faced with fear or anger or sadness, one looks at it. Now, it can be very difficult to face fear and sadness. The stories are powerful. Emotions are powerful. Every thought and emotion gets reflected in your body. And if you can be with fear, step out of the story and drop into the physical sensation of what fear feels like, then that might be a way of you being able to stay with the experience. Body sensations are more neutral than our thoughts and our emotions. So this is what we're talking about. Mindfulness is turning to our experience, not wanting to change it, having no preference, being able to hold it from a place of awareness, non-attachment, and ultimately compassion. That's pretty difficult in the beginning, no question. So the best thing you do is embody the experience. Drop into your body and feel it and experience it. And like everything in life, it will pass.
I was afraid I was going to. Never mind the experience.
And you know, this is a very nice comment about pain is expected, suffering is optional. So what do we mean by that? Oh my God, I can't breathe. I have this squeezing sensation in my belly. So we have the physical sensation. That's not good enough for our minds. Because what happens next? I'm going to die. This is cancer. My leg is going to fall off. That's the problem. We create our suffering from what we experience. And so this is a great way to deal with pain, is that you come back to the direct physical experience of the sensation and rest in that, rather than allowing your mind to proliferate and tell you these horrible stories about what's going to happen to you. Good question. Thank you. How many found that their minds were relentless, that they were physically agitated, that there was pain, that there was boredom, that there was... How many of you had that thought of, when is this going to end? So, again, this is what mindfulness is all about. It's not the story. It's the process. What does boredom feel like? Go to what you are experiencing. What does restlessness feel like? What does agitation feel like? That is that's what mindfulness is all about. Turning to face your experience, not trying to change it. So, next time we're going to talk about mindfulness. And just to briefly tell you, mindfulness is not just being in the present moment. You know, that's what we now see on Time magazine, and you know, everywhere you go, it's like mindful living community, the mindful realtor. It's everywhere. That's not what mindfulness is. It's being in the present moment, knowing what you know, having wisdom. Wisdom doesn't mean being smart. It means understanding the truth of experience. And we discovered that in our first session. And then, understanding the truth of experience, we can then move beyond the sense of I that owns every experience. We no longer have to believe our mind and everything it says. That's the freedom point. So then we can be present with everything in our experience and simply be aware of it, let it be, no judgment, and then we can move beyond that defended sense of self and ego to a place of natural open-heartedness and compassion.